Chapter 22 Lligwy. The students, professors, and Cat found themselves in a field under a grey sky. It was windy, and a few drops of fine rain sparkled on their skin. To one side of them was the ruin of an old church across the field. To the other side was a wood. Everywhere seemed to be farmland. Lydia noticed a faint smell of the sea. Having brought them all there, she had a good feel for the surrounding land. She could feel the church. She could feel the wood. She could feel the ancient ruins hidden among the trees. The other thing she could feel was the ancient ruin that was her uncle. He was emerging from the trees as she looked in that direction. "Good morning again, everyone," he hailed them. "Please come into the woods. I have some people I would like you to meet." The group, or even a small crowd, hurried across the rough ground to the wood. It was mild for January, still colder than some of them had dressed for, especially with that wind. Lydia could feel the wind, but it didn't trouble her. She could feel so much in this place, so much nature, so much magic. Every bird and beast, every noble tree. Such matters as cold or warmth seemed irrelevant to her. Somehow she knew this was what it felt like to be Ambrose. It was how it felt to be in tune with nature and its old magic, to understand one's place in it and one's obligations to it. Self was at once nothing, and yet also an important part of the scheme. Ambrose's place was to continue. Hers might be to end soon. But there were important things to be achieved first, if all this unique nature was to survive. She found Freddie was holding her hand. She smiled. "Thanks, Freddie, but I'm fine. Just don't tell me how exciting it all is, really." "Okay, babes," he answered. "But in case you were wondering, I'm a bit terrified too. For all of us." She stopped and swung him round so that they were face to face. "That's why I'm here to look after all of you, while you're all looking after me," she said. "I can't say how, but I suddenly know we have an excellent chance of winning. It's like the whole world is rooting for us. Maybe not the people, because they don't know, but nature is on our side. It's not going to be easy, but it's not beyond us." Freddie grinned. "Cool. Now I'm just excited." Seeing her reaction, he added, "But I won't mention it, because I don't want to mess up your perfectly crafted misery." Lydia laughed. "I'm sorry you got dragged into this, Freddie. You and Sophie and all the others. But I'm so glad you're here. Where else would I be but with my besties?" "Doing homework?" he said. "Oh my God, don't say you've brought it with you." "Yeah, actually, it's in my bag," she told him. "So's yours. But if you're on your best behaviour, it can stay there." They walked on to catch up with the others. "Hey, what if we lose it?" he mused. "Wouldn't it be a great excuse? 'Sorry, Professor, I lost my homework. Some hideous beast from a parallel world ate it.'" "Who are you calling a hideous beast? Ho, ho, ho." Hagrid was beside them, stooping below the branches of a tree.
"Hello, Professor,"
the youngsters greeted him. Sophie joined them, Xander in arms. "I'm no professor here," he said, "and you ain't no ordinary students." Lydia frowned.
"Hagrid, how much do you know about what's going on here?"
"No more'n the rocks and the trees," he said. "I know there's summat important to be done, and I'll do me best. But what it is, or why it has to be done, I don't know. But I'm involved, and it's a privilege. Oh, and Maddock and Gertie and the unicorns and such all send their love." Freddie was about to say something, but Ambrose called them to order. The others were joining them, and he waited while the greetings died down. Next to Ambrose were Harry and Ginny. Ginny grinned at Lydia, and she grinned back. On the old wizard's other side were Havina, who Lydia recognised from her first visit to Anglesey, and a which Lydia didn't know. She wore a loose brown canvas shirt and trousers. These were furled close to her body by leather straps and buckles. She had grizzled brown hair in an asymmetric style, and a scar which ran from her hairline through her left eyebrow. Over one shoulder she carried a backpack. Lydia noticed she was barefoot. Lydia thought she looked incredibly cool and dangerous. "I thank you all for being here. This is the site of Lligwy," Ambrose announced, gesturing to the ruins which stood in a clearing among the trees. "It is the site of an ancient community of druids dating back thousands of years. I'm afraid I can say little else for technical reasons. Beside me is my old friend, Hivina, who is the high priestess of the druids. I must leave it to her to explain what happens next." Ambrose stepped back to make way for Hivina. His shoulders drooped, as if from the effort of addressing the gathering. His pain was almost palpable to Lydia. Hivina cleared her throat. "Croeso, welcome, band of warriors." The priestess had a soft voice, with a clear bell-like tone. They had no difficulty hearing her. "We shall shortly open the portal, which will appear within the bounds of Lligwy. The portal is the first gate to the Anteworld. Once you enter, you must escort Lydia and her companions to the gateway. Only they can pass through it into the Anteworld proper. That is where they will begin their quest. Between the portal and the gateway, a malevolent force, known as Luid, the Grey Watcher, will attack. He will attempt to stop Lydia from reaching the gateway. Lydia will be busy finding and opening this gateway. It will be for the rest of you, companions included, to make sure Lydia reaches the gateway before it fades. We do not know what the terrain will be like, or what the Watcher will send against you. Are there any questions?" There was some shuffling amongst the gathering. Ginny stepped forward. "Once Lydia and friends have gone through the gateway, can we get back through the portal?" Hivina smiled and nodded. "Once they are through the gateway, the Watcher's forces will disappear. The portal will be open and clearly visible to you. We will make sure of that." The priestess looked around the assembly. There were no other questions. "Once you are inside, go where Lydia directs. Surround her, protect her. Get her companions through the gateway while Lydia holds it open. She will follow them, and the gateway will close. Now, the portal is not quite ready. Get to know each other. We will let you know when the portal opens." Lydia looked for the cool witch. "Hi," she said. "I'm Lydia." The witch nodded and gave her a lopsided grin. "I know. My name's Lavender. I'm in the pest control business, or as some people say, I'm a monster hunter. I'm also a werewolf, though the old one, Ambrose, has helped me with that." "Helped you?" Lydia asked. "You know Stefano? How he can turn being a vampire on and off?" Lydia nodded. "I'm almost the same with my werewolf tendencies," she grinned. "Except I'm better at turning it on than off. I help keep the vampires in line. Stefano does the same with the werewolves. We mostly work in the shadows, in that few people know about us. I was at school with Ron and Harry, Dumbledore's army and everything. Got attacked by a werewolf in the Battle of Hogwarts. He left me for dead. Ambrose took me in and did what he could, but you can never fully get rid of being a werewolf. Still, with some self-control and the occasional potion at the full moon, I have a pretty good life. Short hours, extreme violence, what's not to like?" "Harry said there were a lot of vampires at Malfoy Manor," Lydia noted. "Yeah, I wish I'd been there. The Aurors think vampires are a bit tricky. I think they're just tricky enough to be fun. The Aurors didn't call me in because, well, I work in the shadows, as I said. This is the first time Harry has seen me since Hogwarts. Do you know Ginny's brother, Ron?" "Yes," Lydia smiled. "He's left the Aura office now, though." Lavender gave a wistful nod. "I know. He's working with George again. Well, Ron was my first proper boyfriend at school. Actually, he was my only proper boyfriend. All the others. So, Hermione wouldn't be keen on seeing me again. And with her being the head of enforcement, you can see why I don't get involved with auras if I can help it." Stefano was telling me about everyone, Evina called out with her bell-clear voice. We are ready for you. Evina beckoned Harry and Lydia over to stand by her. The three of them waited while the others assembled before them. Harry looked around for Ambrose. He was nowhere to be seen. Edora, Evina murmured to him, we would like you to take command of those protecting Lydia. Oh, well, Harry said, wouldn't it be better if Ambrose took charge? Emrys cannot pass through the portal, she stated. Where is he? Harry hissed. Evina turned to face Harry. He has had to leave. He will need all his strength to hold the Grey Watcher at bay. Emrys must fight from this side. Harry nodded. He wasn't sure why. It was not out of understanding. I will command the protectors, Harry vowed. Harry looked past Evina to Lydia. And I will concentrate on finding the gateway and holding it open for my companions and myself, said Lydia. The way she said it made Harry think she had some unseen source of knowledge of what she had to do. That eased his conscience. He felt sick at the thought of guiding that sweet young girl and her friends into danger and leaving them. But then he realized something. That sweet young girl was more powerful than he had been at the Battle of Hogwarts. More powerful than he was now. Everyone, Evina called out again. In a moment, we will step into the ruins of Lligwy, just beyond these trees. Some of my people are there, ready to open the portal. Please do not speak to them or distract them. The head aura will command those protecting Lydia. Lydia will find and open the gateway. Once she and her companions pass through, the rest of you should head straight back to the portal. You will be safe, but please waste no time. We cannot open the portal indefinitely. Pobluk, good luck. Your responsibility is great, our gratitude immeasurable. The adults, I suppose, will go through first, said Harry. We'll form an outer ring. When the companions come through, they can form an inner ring. Then Lydia should come through last and move into the middle. Then we set off, I guess. Lydia will point the way. Let's go. As Evina, Lydia, and Harry led the others into the low ruins of the ancient village, Harry turned to the High Priestess. We can use one magic through the portal, can't we? He asked her. Oh yes, I imagine so, she replied.